from Charlotte, North Carolina, at a combined weight of over 660 pounds, Rody Rob, Adam Baum, Bionic Brian, the Marked Out Wrestling Podcast.
And welcome to episode 508 of the Marked Out Wrestling Podcast. My name is Rody Rob. I am your host. No, I am not your host tonight. So you can all be happy and excited that I am not going to be running the show tonight. But before I do turn it over to the person that is running the show, let me say hello to all those on our YouTube live chat board, all those on Twitch and Mixer, joining us via Periscope and Facebook Live as well tonight. We are everywhere, and we're going to be all over the place tomorrow, too, on all your podcast providers. Thank you so much for joining us, episode 508. Adam Baum is our host tonight. I'm rambling, Adam. Take over. Take the show.
Welcome to, as Rody dubbed it, Who Lost Wednesday? Or what was the other one you came up with that I thought was pretty good?
Oh, shit.
The Pink Slip Massacre?
No, it was the Hump Day Massacre.
Hump Day Massacre. Lots of people, before we even I don't even need the notes yet, before we even start talking about this, Brian, I think you have the full list. But WWE, this should have been a happy day. We should have been talking about our stimulus payments, but instead we're talking about who's got the axe.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me. It's good to be here. I didn't get a proper introduction, but that's okay. Besides the point.
Sorry. I
that's
thought
okay.
the guy who works in the studio
I
would have
said,
done that. My bad.
No,
I said I turned it to the host.
Well, I'll check the tape. We'll find out.
Wow. Excuse Mountain.
But yeah, here we go. The first few layoffs came this morning. The first group was Drake Maverick, Kurt Hawkins, Carl Anderson, EC3, and Leo Rush.
Which was weird because we at first were talking about why Gallows wasn't in there.
Right. I mean, you kind of figured that more were coming, but I don't think. I mean, at least I didn't think that there were going to be this many that were especially like producers too, but. Any of those in that group that you guys think are like a big deal?
No, I told Adam earlier. I was like, all these, like, we like a lot of these people, but nobody of consequence. I'm not gonna miss any of them, honestly. I lost. Are you talking?
Not hear me?
Okay, there you go. Something's going on with my settings. Go ahead.
All right. So what I thought about it was we were talking off air. It feels like they cut the entire main event roster. Like they're like, hey, we're not going to do main event anymore, so we're sending all these guys packing. The only thing I thought in this first group though was it was weird that the club just signed a 5-year deal a few months back, and you were only releasing one of them at the time. That was the only odd thing here. And like Rob said, do I miss them? I don't know what else they could really do at this point with their characters. So what's the next set of people?
Next one was, like we said, Luke Gallows and Heath Slater. That was at 1:45 p.m. They were released. So that Luke Gallows, of course, he was one of the ones that we thought was coming. But Heath Slater, that's a big one because he's been there for 10 plus years at this point. I mean, you don't hear a bad thing about him from anybody, when they talk about him in the WWE locker room or even the wrestling world. Everyone has always great things to say about Slater. So he was a surprising one to me.
Also, you're never going to get the 3-man band reunion that you wanted, Rob.
Right. Never going to happen. I'm so shut down from that. No, I thought Heath Slater was the absolute most obvious choice. I mean, yeah, we all like him. But what is he really doing, and what has he really been doing? Right? It was kind of time to move.
And now's the time to do it, Rob, because you get paid for your kids in the stimulus program. So
right, we get a little check that's not worth anything, but yeah, it's cool.
Real quick, we forgot to do the board. Stykes here, Anaconda Vice, Soji. I saw Sklenner. I saw Joseph Manley. Go on, Brian. What's next?
All right. So
who's next?
Who's next? Yeah. So 2:10 p.m. Eastern time, we had Eric Young, just Eric Young. That one is, again, that's kind of like expected, sort of. But still, I mean, all these guys, it's kind of fucked up the timing of it, right? Like, could we all agree, like, right in the middle of all this stuff?
Well, here's my thing, man.
I mean, the entire XFL got laid off.
He's such a dick, man. My thing is, did you need to? Did you have? I mean, I get that everybody's got to, everybody's taking some sacrifices right now, but they got NXT has a multi-million-dollar deal on USA. They're still doing that, and NXT wasn't much overhead to begin with. I mean, they taped at Full Sail or at the PC, and all their talent are making between $50,000 a year and $80,000. They weren't really banking on the house show circuit or their loops because, I mean, yeah, they got a little bit of money, but the crowds weren't big enough to, to pay the bills. So, NXT still making money. Raw and SmackDown still got multi-million-dollar deals. I think the Fox is multi-billion-dollar deals. They still got those going on, so that money's still coming in. They still got online merch sales. Yeah, they're losing stadium, attendance fees, and they're losing live.
What about main event?
Well, and they're losing live. Yeah, main event too. Well, shut up. They're losing their revenue from their merch during the shows, but they also got a multi-$100 million deal from fucking Saudi Arabia, right, or some fucking crazy sick number. So I mean, they still have all this revenue and all this money in. So I see some of the cuts. Here's some talent we're not using, but some of these other names, like some of the producers, which I'm actually for. Getting rid of a lot of those, but I just don't think they needed to go as heavy as they did. Like Rusev could have kept him, Gallows and Anderson, you could have kept him. I think you could have.
Yeah, but the problem is
now here's the thing though that Rob didn't touch on. The one thing is, do you think that this is just a Jew move? I guess I can say it there. They just want to save, and a lot of these guys are going to be brought back. They just don't want to pay for them right now to sit at home while they're quote unquote going short staffed. It's almost like we don't have anything for these people right now. Let them stay home, but we're not going to pay you and we're going to bring you back. Or in the case of some of these people, Rusev, Mike Canales, a lot of them have asked to go for their release anyway.
Yeah.
So this could be a blessing for some.
That was my thing. I mean, some of these people that are on the list were ones that clearly wanted out, but I mean, do you want to? We'll go through the next ones if you want.
Well, hold on, real quick. Let me just put this out there. If I have an IT department at my company and I decide one day, I can handle IT, I'm going to completely dissolve my IT department. If I'm going to do that, then why do I need to still employ an IT guy, right? Somebody like Heath Slater, or some of these other people on the list as far as talent goes, they're live show guys. They go and do WWE live shows. If we don't have live shows, why am I going to keep live show guys? So at the same time, I agree with you, Adam. They are probably just being a little, your words, Jewy. But on the same note, if that division, which pays you, is not running, then I can't justify the cost of you. And
same with main event.
Sure, but I mean, is main event still going to be running on TV, or where were they running main event?
I know you're still hung up on main event. Who's to say that they're throwing that away? They didn't scrap that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just am guessing because it feels like this entire roster that was let go was the main event crew.
Yeah, he's caught up in that.
He is. He very is. All right, 2:25 p.m. Kurt Angle and Aiden English. Angle, I mean, I haven't heard anything about what he was like. I know he had a producer
in
role.
The Hall of Fame. He's already.
Yeah, it seemed just kind of like almost more of just like what do they call it when it's just like the name? Like, I don't think he actually does a job, but they're still paying him, and he's just kind of hanging around. Aiden English though kind of rubbed me the wrong way with the whole thing because he's married to Shaul Guerrero, who is Eddie Guerrero's daughter, and what was it, about a month or so ago, or a couple months ago. Vicky Guerrero did commentary for AEW, and apparently after that, she was getting blocked out from anything WWE. She was trying to have WWE people on her podcast, and they were cutting her off because they were pissed. They were being very petty. They get the petty award for her being in cahoots with AEW.
Right.
So Aiden English getting released. I mean, I don't know. What Adam wasn't he doing main event? Wasn't he doing commentary?
No, I thought he was doing 205 Live commentary.
That's right. That's what it
was. But, I mean, he's not an in-ring competitor. Again, if you don't need a ton of extra help and announce team, like Rob said, you don't need the live event people, then what's the point? I get the cost-cutting measures. It's just and you haven't really touched on it too much yet, Brian. I want you to read this list next, but the producers.
Yeah.
I like where Rob's going with the producers. Yeah, it sucks for somebody like Lance Storm, who closed his school 4 months ago and now is having to do nothing here because he's being let go.
But who needs him?
He doesn't have a school going anyway. But like Rob said, let them produce their own shit. There's a cost-cutting measure. Why do you have all these extra layers between, the talent and the match and the decisions?
And another little factor there, before you read the list down, Brian, another little factor about the producers that you're about to read is when the house show circuit, like I just talked about, you're losing the revenue from house shows. A lot of the guys who are in charge, who are running Gorilla for the live shows, WWE live shows, were these producers. Vince doesn't go to the live shows. Hunter and Shane don't go to the live shows. That's where you get like the
fuck no, they don't.
No, that's where you get like the Billy Guns and I know he's not with WWE. I'm just making examples. I'm sorry, the Road Dogs and Mike Rotundas and Fit Finley. Those guys are going to be running those house shows. So again, we've lost that revenue. But you know what, man? Honestly, like you just said, that I said, is why, Brian, do we need any of these producers that you listed? Go ahead. Who are they?
No, you're right. So here we go. 2:30 p.m. We've got Billy Kidman, Mike Rotunda, who of course is IRS, Dave Fit Finley. We got
Hold on. Hold on, guys. Have a little technical problem here. Let me just adjust this. I don't know why it's doing this. Hold on. All right. Can you hear me? Brian, say something.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're good.
So start the list from the beginning. My bad. Go ahead.
All right. It's good. So we've got Billy Kidman, Mike Rotunda, who AKA is IRS, Fit Finley, Pat Buck, Sean Davari, Scott Armstrong, that's brother of Road Dogg, Sarah Stock, Shane Helms, and of course Lance Storm, who Adam mentioned before. All were producers, and they were actually some of them were furloughed, so they weren't all totally just outright fired. But I don't know what that means. I don't know how long they're going to be out for I don't know how long it's going to be. Furloughed? I don't know when they're going to bring them back.
Yeah. I look, here's the thing too, and who knows when they come back, right? Maybe the reports right now are that we could be
making me laugh.
We could be living in a social distancing world for the next till 2022 is what they're saying. We might not have hundreds or thousands of people, crowds, main events, live shows, concerts for another year and a half, 2 years. This is a very real possibility. So maybe if that's the case in this year, 2 year window, that these people, that they find out the company works better without them. I'll be back.
Yeah. All right.
The board is making me and Brian laugh here by saying Brian's internet dropped because the FBI is still looking into his search history. That's from Jay XL10.
Well, I got a lot of time on my hands, man.
The only thing in your hands. Sklenner also said Billy Kidman can get fired every day, and he would get zero sympathy from me. Of course, Billy Kidman was once married to Tori Wilson, so yeah, you get nothing from me either. I agree with that.
That is a fact. That is a fact right there.
Soji's saying that Garza got the boot. That I didn't know Garza was on this list.
No,
I did not read Garza's name. I didn't
see Garza. Yeah, we said Hurricane Joji, but after those producers, that was at about 2:30, and then at 2:50 p.m., Eric Rowan and Epico were the next on the list.
Is the Spider still around?
I think the Spider, they haven't fired the Spider yet, so the Spider and the Cage, they are still backstage somewhere, hopefully, so we can pray for that. 3 p.m., we had Primo Colon, Sarah Logan, and referee Mike Chioda have all been released. So released.
Whoa. Ooh. Mike Chioda, 1989. I want to talk about this. He's been there since 1989. He has been the referee through some of the great careers, and he's done some of the great matches that we remember him seeing. He didn't oversell like Audrey or any of these other people. Mike Chioda is a very shocking one to me on this list.
Yeah, he was a man. I mean, he was one of Vince's guys, so it's very curious. It's weird when you have like a lot of like the young, hardworking, just talented individuals, and then you have also senior employees that are also leaving. Like that seems like something's not sitting
right. Is that
right.
cost-cutting measures because Chioda maybe makes more than anybody else on the ref staff for how long he's been there, the tenure?
That's a fair assessment of that. I think Chioda is you say shocking. I think it's an obvious one. I mean, if you're looking at the landscape of referees, which we never really talk about, this is a whole new generation, whole new era of refs. We saw tonight NXT had a black female referee, so that ceiling's been broken. So we're seeing. I think it's time for the older refs to go. It's a new era, honestly.
Show me saying Titus, Robert Roode, Axel, Brooke. I haven't seen any of those names. Have you guys?
No.
And Sklender's asking if you're under contract and then you're let go, do you still get paid? No. So it's the equivalent of being terminated, but you're also released of your no compete. Am I incorrect there? If there is a compete clause, when you're released, they're saying go do whatever the fuck you want. We're giving up the rights to you. You've hit the public domain, if you will. Anybody can play you.
A WWE contract is a performance contract, so you're paid per performance. The contract just lines out how long this agreement is in place and what your terms are for your different events. So it's not like a military contract where you're owned by this entity. It's just a performance contract. So if WWE says, and they have a clause in there that they may terminate for whatever reasons they choose to, which they probably do, then once it's gone, you're free. No big deal.
Yeah, and there's a lot of precedent, too, where they've allowed people to work in another venue, another arena, another promotion or stuff like that. Nothing major, nothing crazy, but
to that point,
there has been exchanges.
Right, but to that point, his question is, no, you're not going to get a severance because you're not an official employee. You're your own company being contracted in. You're not going to get anything.
Well, I think that might. I think possibly some of the four-load people got a little bit of severance or something. I could be wrong about that.
They probably would, because doesn't that mean they're kind of hanging around? Like
that means that you're kept on the payroll as an official employee or as a contractor or whatever.
Right,
or official employee. You can't furlough contractors, I don't think. But as an official employee, you're still on the rosters. You're still on, what they submit to whoever they submit to for payroll, whatever, all that stuff. But you are not getting paid. It just says that we're eventually going to bring you back.
Getting paid.
You're not getting paid. No.
So what? They just keep their job?
They just have they officially have a job according to all the whatever it's according to. So yeah.
That's weird though, because it's not like they get benefits through their job either. So what the hell do they keep? Just their spot? That sounds shitty.
Sounds petty, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what you're going for.
Yeah.
Well, who's next? Because we're not even close to being done with this list.
Well, yeah, we've got 305 and 315. They had Mike Kanellis and Maria Kanellis both released, which they just signed that big deal not too long ago. Within the past 6 months.
No.
Yes, they signed that.
It was the summer last year.
Okay, fine. I don't know if it was that long ago. Was it really?
It feels like it's been 9 months or so.
All right, well, I said 6 months, so that's close enough. But either way, they re-upped. They were signed. They had a multi-year deal, but just like that, they're outdoor too. After that, this is another big one. 330. Zack Ryder, the other half of the Major Brothers, he was released as well. Which for me, I'm excited for him. I know it sucks for everybody. I feel terrible for everyone that got released today. It really does suck.
It's a glass half full day though,
right,
Brian. Like
for sure.
Some of the more talented people that, yes, I agree with Rob, we don't care or won't miss. The reason we won't miss is because they've been misused or not used.
Correct.
So there will be some that land on their feet. We were talking also in the group thread, like somebody like EC3, who I really like and maybe could be a star somewhere else. somebody like MJF would keep him in his current gimmick at least from going to AEW. That doesn't mean he doesn't have other options, but some people might have to rework their gimmick just because, if that opportunity is there for them, they might have somebody else that's too closely associated with what they were doing in WWE, or maybe they just go clean slate and forget the whole damn thing.
Right.
Rob made a joke. Rob, what did you say Brody Lee should be doing next week?
He should be firing all the members of the Dark Order. You're fired. You're fired. You're furloughed.
Yeah, you're furloughed.
Take all the really bad creepers that make up Evil Uno's throne and get rid of them. Fire just Evil Uno's throne.
Right. We can't afford you, so we just bought a chair instead.
Go away.
Yeah.
All right, 335. No Way Jose. Which, I mean,
of course.
Yeah,
not gonna miss him.
Right.
Great guy. He's cool.
Yeah, exactly. He falls into that category of we wanted them to do something with him, and at least this way, hopefully he'll be able to do something outside of WWE because he's very talented. Rusev, that was another big one too. Rusev is no longer Machka-ing in WWE.
He could be a good addition to AEW.
That one shocked me, really. Rusev.
Really?
That one I was like, really? You got rid of Rusev? I thought there was so much room for him. He still had growth as far as what they
made
could do.
himself with Rusev Day, Rob, and they didn't back it to any way.
Yeah.
He really didn't get a singles push with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue that they misused him. I'm just saying he had potential for more.
And it's weird that Lana is going to still be there. I mean, she's, I guess.
Well,
you don't think so? She just re-signed. I'm almost certain she re-signed.
So did Carl. So did Anderson.
Well,
Gallows.
you're right.
And also, I mean, if anybody, kayfabe wise is on their way out, Lashley and her are on the rocks. He's talking about, I need a new wife.
Right.
Where else would she land, Brian? Is she going to go with somebody else and be their valet and her husband left? If these cuts aren't done, she's next.
Right. And then we had Deonna Purrazzo from NXT. So now it seems like they were kind of switching gears. Those were the next names that were coming out. Which she was she hasn't been there for all that long. So that was kind of surprising.
Well, and it was the only one from NXT that you said right now, right?
Yeah.
There may have also been this might not have all been decided exclusively by the management. I mean, somebody like Purrazzo could have been like, hey, we're going to be making some cuts. Do you want to go?
Rob, that's a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up, because that's a thought that I had. A lot of these names, a lot of them are ones that, like we said, are the ones that haven't been happy or have been kind of vocal about their spot in WWE. So that wouldn't shock me if they were like, you know what? Now we should just, if you guys want to go, whoever wants to fucking go, get the fuck out of here, because we want to go with the people that we have. We want to go with the people that want to be here. So that's potential.
What we do know is that
Ember Moon is what the board is saying, Brian. Is that I know she's injured.
I haven't seen her name.
Well, so what we do know is, I haven't seen that either. I'm actually on the website. I don't see that one. What we do know is that they had a conference call with Vince and the entire staff of the WWE, talent, producers, backstage people, everybody. So there could have been a moment in that phone call where he was like, we're going to make some hard cuts. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then some people probably reached out to him and said, hey, look, rather than you cutting some of these young talent, Carl Anderson and Gallows could have said, rather than cutting these guys young talent, we can go work. We can go make some money somewhere else, probably be happier. So, keep these young guys who won't make it necessarily right away somewhere else. Is that fair?
Well, and yeah. EC3 we know wasn't vocal. There was people that was certainly sad on Twitter that I saw their posts. There were a lot that just took the professionalism, like, hey, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there. I think there was some really shocking ones that didn't get cut. Rob, you mentioned Natty. I think we all mentioned Mojo. I think Jinder Mahal was brought up in a kind of vice in my little Twitter group. But there are some weird ones that are still hanging on that makes me think that this isn't the end of it. Rob, your reasoning with Natty, you have a duplicate sort of in Dana Brooke in terms of skill set. why do you need Natty, the older one? I mean, if that's the logic behind getting rid of Kyoto, that should be the logic to get rid of Natty.
Yeah, I just, to me, Natty's, look, and this is a personal, I think Natty's played out. I think we all can agree with that. She doesn't fit with this new style. I think you got her. You're still using her for Total Divas, so she's got her role to play. So maybe that's what it is.
Oh yeah, nobody was cut. That's from Total Divas. I wonder if that's why Lana's hanging on. Isn't she finishing out there? Didn't they have her on there?
I mean, maybe,
I have no idea.
Maybe.
Well, no one's shooting anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, how are they going to
do? No, but I mean, aren't they airing the remaining episodes? Or I don't know how the fuck, like till May.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, that's a good follow-up to that. I mean, Total Divas programming, what are they going to do, like Big Brother shows? Everybody's going to be in their house? That's going to be shut down, too. So, I don't know. All right, keep going.
And then a couple other coaches that I didn't mention yet. Serena Deeb, she was working in NXT, and Kendo Cashin. I'm not familiar with
Kato Kaelin?
Not sure who
is
that
Serena the one from Straight Edge Society?
Correct. Yeah, they rehired her back when she participated, I believe, in the second Mae Young tournament, and they kept her on as a coach. But yeah, I guess they got rid of her. And Ace Steel, aka Chris Guy. That's he was instrumental in training Colt Cabana and CM Punk, but he had been working with NXT not for that long either. I know he was there for maybe a year or two, but they let go of him also. And then Andrea Listenberger. She's one of the creative. She's one of the creative people backstage. And then another on-air talent, it was Josiah Williams. Not quite sure who that is either. Jerry Soto, he was an announcer. He was also let go. Not quite sure, but Shoji's saying that there was a bunch of other names that were missing. But those are all the ones that I'm seeing right now. Yeah. I'm not sure about if you guys have any that I missed.
Shoji's also asking Rob, and I want you to answer this question. Do you think NXT UK is next on the cut list?
Oh, you'd have to think.
Again, I mean, how much overhead is there? Really?
Well, I mean, you don't have a studio over there.
No, you don't have a studio. All your talent is by performance, paid by performance. All your engineering people and camera guys over there are probably contractors, so you don't owe them money. You don't have your own facility. If they do have their own facility by now, they probably got enough money to keep the rent going, and they own the rings.
Yeah, but I'm saying, why would you pay these people? They're live performers, and there's no live shows. They have to be cut, right? That's where you're going.
Unless you can get a sponsor on a network to air their show. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
feel like it's the same exact thing as what you said earlier. The live show, they are live show performers for the most part, and you're not going to have live shows potentially for what did you say? You thought till 2021?
Well, the scientists,
21. Yeah, that's what they're saying.
2022 is what they're saying.
Really?
Yeah, 2022. So,
bye, Brian. It was nice knowing you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But like you have all this happening. Plus, you had the XFL bankruptcy that happened earlier this week. You have the announcement with Vince being one of the guys that's going to be helping reopen the U.S. And then you have the $18.5 million. I don't know what you want to call it. It's not a bribery, but it's like a, hey, here you go. Here's this donation, quote unquote,
right,
to Florida.
I saw that, right? The PAC,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Let's back up for 1 second. I know we love to not talk politics on the show, but Vince McMahon is filing for bankruptcy. He has bribed his way to keep his sport on the air, and now he's been. By the way, his wife's part of the Trump's cabinet, and now he's been named to a special counsel to fix the economy. He's in the middle of a bankruptcy. His buddy that's in the White House has gone through bankruptcy. This whole thing stinks. The fact that WWE is getting a loophole, I feel like Tony Khan might get shut down just because Vince tells Trump, "Hey man, it's not essential. We're essential."
The surprise in your voice when you are throwing out a conspiracy claim of some kind of corruption going on, corruption, or collusion, whatever. I just like the surprise in your voice because obviously we all know this. It's obvious. obviously Vince McMahon is tied up with the most corrupt president ever and is making fucking backdoor deals with him and the governor of fucking Florida. Oh God, it's so deep, and it's some deep. This is some deep Trump shit. So yeah, this is crazy.
Seriously.
Yeah, and no, it's obvious. It's totally horrible. Real quick, I looked at a WWE Twitter page. The board was telling me to do that. I don't see anything new as far as releases go.
Me neither.
Amber Moon's page, she doesn't say that she's released. Here's a good tweet from Fit Finley. To everyone on God's green earth, thank you for the kind words. I've been doing this for 46 years, wrestling. I pray you all get through this and we can share a hug and drink again. Stay healthy. There you go. So that was Fit Finley, his swan song on Twitter there.
Right.
So Juan is here, Meds is here, Flat Cat Faraday. Guys, fuck Vince. Fuck this Hump Day Massacre and all that. I think we should start talking about some AEW real quick.
There you go.
Please.
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's talk some
Rob,
wrestling.
before we do it, do you want to do your NXT minute? And we'll do the AEW? Because we already know AEW won this Wednesday. Just because we're soured on WWE in general.
Why don't you do the opening segment of AEW and let me get my my
All right. So the opening segment for AEW is our quarterfinal in the tournament, Brian. We have Colt Cabana, Scotty Goldman, and Lance Archer. Before we get too into the match, I just want to talk about the intros, Brian. Who was that Archer clubbed the shit out of when he was just going around the ring before he got in there? Who was that?
That's a good question. I
thought it might have been Billy Gunn or his son, because it was usually where they are standing.
It could have been. I guess I must have missed that. I was too focused on the upcoming match. But
we knew Lance Archer was going to win here, Brian.
Yeah.
Were you shocked by how much they let Colt do offensively?
No, I wasn't shocked at all. I mean, we've been seeing Archer having these squash matches for the past few weeks now, so it made sense that they're not gonna have Colt just go out there and lose in a minute to Archer. They have to still, because again, I think Colt hasn't lost a match either. Weren't they both undefeated?
Colt was undefeated. Yeah. One was 2-0 and one was like 5-0. But yeah.
Right. So. This was a big deal
for streaks.
No, but it was a big deal for Colt to actually get some offense in and look strong. I mean, Archer still looked like a fucking beast, and for him to be able to do the blackout to Colt was impressive. His finisher. So I thought it was a good match. It was what it was. It was a good opener, but I don't think anything surprising or shocking happened from it.
No, I mean, my only shock was that Colt has as much offense as he did. Rob, what was your take?
My biggest take from this was, I mean, the match was fine. It's what it was. My biggest takeaway was, if you want to make somebody look, you always hear about Vince, like, hey, go out there and make them look strong in the ring. Like that's his way to make somebody look strong. I think Archer has been made to look strong just by Jake Roberts talking about him, honestly. Jake Roberts makes me think Archer is a fucking badass. And I don't know who Archer is, from the next guy. So I just that's what stands out to me, that they're really selling Archer well for what they're wanting him to be.
Yeah, Jake Roberts being a better hype man than Paul Heyman right now is kind of shocking to me.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. You want to go right on to the next thing, or did you want to do your NXT minute?
I can do the minute. It's fine.
All right, go for it.
You want me to do like
Ryan, get your clock ready.
We're ready.
You want to do like an announcer voice or big time DJ voice?
I don't know. NXT was what it was. You try to make it hype or drown it low. I don't care.
And here's your NXT minute for April 15th, 2020. Finn Balor.
Off to a great start.
Finn Balor defeats Fabian Aichner via pinfall. Afterwards, the Prince delivers a warning to Walter on the camera. Aaliyah versus Xia Li. Xia Li defeats Aaliyah via pinfall. Aaliyah is the best wrestler in NXT. Akira Tozawa.
Let go.
Akira Tozawa defeats Isaiah Swerve Scott via pinfall. Who cares? Tegan Nox versus Raquel Gonzalez. That happened. Tegan Nox defeats Raquel via pinfall. Dexter Loomis and Miles Dexter wins.
Oh, wow, you just glossed over Shotzi, but go on.
Oh, did I? Oh, I did. Yeah, Shotzi came out. I'm sorry. I was
3 minutes left.
Okay. Yeah, Shotzi comes out to help Tegan Knox, so that she's getting involved there. Let's see here. Velveteen's waiting for Adam Cole to come out. Adam Cole's in the pool, like, fuck, dude, Nate, I'm not coming out. Nobody's worth of my time. And then fucking Velveteen starts talking all kinds of, hyping up Cole about how great he is and best champion of all time. And now here comes Finn Balor asking, well, first, who are you? And second, why are you calling him the greatest champion of all time? So they're gonna muck it up next week, try to put Velveteen over a little bit more. And then Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher defeat the Undisputed Era in the main event to retain the tag team titles. So,
why was it Timothy Thatcher?
I don't know.
What do you mean? What'd you say? Why was it?
Why?
Yeah, so Pete Dunne couldn't travel, just FYI.
No, but Timothy Thatcher, I mean, he was like the big indie signing that they had in this most recent
I know,
NXT
but
class.
he wasn't a tag team champion with Riddle. They had to put him in here to replace Pete Dunne, is what I was going for.
Right. Well, they're slapping that Band-Aid on.
I wasn't shitting on your
I-
Bingo Hall guy.
Oh, my Bingo Hall guy.
Can I?
He's a big throwback. He doesn't really do social media or anything like that. So for them to sign him was pretty cool, and it'll be interesting to see how he kind of maneuvers around in the WWE world.
So can I close my my website here with all the results on it?
Yeah, 'cause you forgot the only one of consequence at the very end.
Oh,
which one?
You talking about
Killer Cross beating up Ciampa backstage,
Yeah.
debuting
that was cool.
alongside what's his wife's name, Brian?
Penelope Ford? Wait, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm sorry. Scarlett Bordeaux. Scarlett Bordeaux. Sorry, I was getting ready for my AEW segment that was coming up next. Sorry.
You good, bro? You good?
Yeah.
All right, so
They're both blonde. They're both attractive. I'm sorry. I've been home a lot. I mean, it's been tough, man. Going crazy, going stir crazy.
Let's switch back to AEW. Speaking of the tournament, we just talked about Archer advancing. I'm just going to go way out of order because this is a good segue here. Guevara will be in action next week against Darby. He beat up on Shug D. Spears was eliminated last week. He beat up on some guy that Rob and I didn't get the name of. Maybe Brian did.
I'm wondering if I wonder if his parents signed his release for him to be able to wrestle tonight. What is he, 12?
Right. And Kip Sabian's going to take on Dustin, and he fought Sabian with Penelope, fought Chucky T and Orange Cassidy tonight. Anything we want to talk about there, guys? Because I know we want to cover the main event. I know we want to cover the Bubbly Bunch.
Yeah.
And
next week, Orange Cassidy and what's his name? Damn it, blanking. The guy he's fucking next week. Come on, can you guys help me here? Or are you just gonna watch me struggle?
Orange Cassidy and Jimmy Havoc?
Yes, thank you. My God, you guys are such assholes.
Fighting next week.
Worst friends
also,
ever.
Also, we got Brody Lee and Kenny Omega will be in action, not against each other.
Okay, but I wasn't, dude. I wasn't running down the whole card. I was just you asking about what we're excited about from what happened during tonight. You don't have to go through the whole fucking card. I just wanted to make the point that I'm excited to see the Orange Cassidy and Jimmy Havoc match. I think that's gonna be fucking awesome based off what we saw tonight.
What you didn't like the Kip Sabian Chucky Taylor match?
I enjoyed that one.
I didn't say anything was wrong with it. You asked me what.
It was a good match.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, that was the one you blew past to talk about what you're excited for next week.
You just went through 5 fucking segments of the show all at once and then asked us what we liked about it.
I talked about all the people that are in the tournament and just said, hey, they all had matches tonight. Showcase featuring matches.
Okay.
As JR put them, make sure they stay fresh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It was all good.
Britt Baker beat Cassandra Golden. Cassandra Golden looked like a mom.
Whoa! That's not a bad thing. Why is that a bad thing?
I'm not being mean about that. She didn't look like a wrestler. She looked like, I'm happy to be here. I wrestled 20 years ago. I'm now a mom to 4.
Wait. No,
that is
stop.
So fucked up.
She looked like she was in your mid-20s. I mean, are you serious?
She looked young. Yeah.
I was a mom 20 years ago. You're an idiot.
What an
No, I was a
asshole.
wrestler 20 years
Then we're
ago.
gonna read the.
Mom, now.
Am we gonna read the board at all? Or are we for just not?
Yeah, go for it. You read the board.
You don't want me reading the board.
I'll read the board.
Go ahead, read the board.
There you go.
Anaconda Vice, let's see. I'll go back. He's talking about NXT, saying Killer Cross attacking Ciampa was cool, but super fast. Could have been done much cooler. That was in his opinion. Okay. Let's see. Shoji saying Vice, did you actually like Cabana versus Archer? He was so mediocre in wrestling, and Archer was like Braun. I don't know what is that?
Archer was.
I thought that was a good
Braun,
match.
But I thought it was a good match. I thought Colt played his part well.
Sure. And then Jason saying big difference between Ford and Scarlett. Scarlett got a. Oh, I should have read this before. I got to finish it now. Scarlett got a booty, and Ford and Baker are battling for flat. No, I don't. I got it. All right, abort. I should have canceled that one. God damn it. Let's see.
It's hard to read the board, right?
Yeah. And let's see. Shoji saying Vice. Colt is a great character, and his wrestling is slow and boring. He is one step above MJF as far as his wrestling skill. That's bullshit. Vice, I'm going to start fucking not reading your comments if you start saying bullshit like that.
Vice, you know I love you, but and I'm not just backing the Jew because Scotty Goldman's the one we're talking about, but you are vastly mistaken here. You need to go check the tape. There's the Britt Baker, Sandra Golden. I'm just blowing through this. I want to get to the bubbly bunch, Brian. Me and Rob watched it together, so I know his take. I want to get what your take was. What did you think about it tonight?
I thought it was funny. I thought it was interesting seeing like you had Proud and Powerful. You had the Santana Ortiz just like chilling. It looked like in their like one of them was in their kitchen. The other looked like it was in like their kids' room.
Like in a beanbag chair or something.
Right. Jericho, he was cooking eggs, but then also I was very confused at his stovetop situation because it looked like he had one of those ones where it didn't have, what is it called? Like there were no grates or anything. It was just like all stovetop. It was
everybody has those. I have those.
I don't know. It's very fancy. It's very fancy.
But Rob, what did you notice about the stovetop?
Are you talking about the orange juice that he spilled all over it and then it magically disappeared?
Just like when he gets out of the hot tub, he's instantly dry.
I love the cutaway where like he spills the orange juice and then it goes to him and the orange juice not spilled and then it cuts to the dogs and they're all like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
it's fucking so good. It was so
Sammy
good.
Guevara working out, just showing off.
I like how he threw the
talking to his kids. Hey, earmuffs.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kick this shit out of you. That was just funny.
How Sammy Guevara threw the fucking weight, like all of a sudden it's fucking threw.
Oh yeah, where the fuck did the weight go off camera? It just went. He's like,
Quattro. Just threw it on the floor.
Quattro. Oh, it's so good.
The whole thing was great. I love Jericho talking about how like the reason why he was wearing his leather pants in the hot tub and the fucking orange juice. It was just the whole thing was silly. I love how. Again, they're not taking themselves quite as seriously as we thought they were gonna when they first formed. At least that's
I mean, Proud and Powerful. They could use some work. This was a good step in the right direction to them being more in that way. Hager's been funny since the beginning when he's been on this type of segment. He's badass or cuts it tough when he's in the ring or in front of the crowd, not crowd. Yeah. But on these promos, he's lighthearted. And Sammy and Jericho work very well together. I like that Proud and Powerful's coming along, but I'm with you, Brian. This is a lot of fun.
It was great. I mean, I don't know how long they can continue to do like silly things like that, but while things are kind of weird and they're not able to actually have like regular full-on shows, I'll take this any day.
It's entertaining.
Cinco.
Here, all you need for a good TV program is personalities that people are connected to. We have that with wrestling, right? We're connected to these personalities. Then just put them in situations that we find entertaining. If I don't see a match for the 2-hour show of Dynamite, honestly, if they do segments that keep me entertained with people who I know, I'm gonna watch and I'm gonna enjoy it.
Dude, I'd watch the Adventures of Vanguard 1 for 20 of those minutes. Just every week, have it be a little serial segment like the continuing adventures of Vanguard 1. It could Timmy, did Vanguard fall down the well?
It could be nothing but a sketch show. I mean, the next one you go to could be a board meeting with the fucking the Dark Order. You know, fucking they could do that for fucking 20 minutes.
Right.
Honestly,
that they don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah, I mean, look. End of the day, yes, it's a wrestling show, but at the end of the day, it's a TV show, and they're committed to entertaining us, and they're doing that whether they can be in the ring or not. So they could do all day long.
But doesn't it feel like a little bit different, like how their product is coming off versus WWE's?
Well, yeah.
And what do you mean?
Well, I mean, just because AEW, they've taped all their stuff, and it seems like they're playing ball with how things are supposed to be right now, with 6 feet away and all that. Where WWE, I mean, they're giving fucking almost $20 million to Florida and almost paying to play so that they can have their live events still, and kind of, I don't know, it seems kind of reckless to me.
Here's the difference. Here's the big difference between.
Well, they're set in their ways.
Yeah, here's the big difference between WWE and AEW overall, but more specifically in this situation, it's really kind of we're seeing with wide eyes. Is that WWE is a hardcore corporate entity, right? I worked jobs that were mom and pop shops where you could grab ass all day, still get your work done, have some fun, don't have to worry about HR violations. And then I've worked other jobs where if you say one thing wrong, you're getting written up and 4 people are talking to you, or you're getting axed, or you're getting some kind of stupid reprimand, or it's so corporate and everything's got to be structured and done in a certain way with meetings and directors and all this stupid shit. WWE is hardcore corporate entity. AEW is a mom and pop shop where everybody gets to work as long as they have fun, as long as they get their job done. That's the difference, and that's what we're seeing.
Right.
Well, and as long as the revenue's there, because I think WCW people had fun, got their job done, but they just.
Well, there was also a lot of drugs involved there.
Yeah. Well, I think WCW. No, if you listen back to what's his face? Not Shivani.
There's at least a lot of pot in AEW.
Yeah, not Shivani, but other one.
Conrad.
No.
Jericho.
The one who ran WCW.
Taz.
Oh.
Bischoff. My
28
God.
weeks.
He's fucking horrible.
82 weeks.
83 weeks, you jackass.
If you listen to Bischoff,
38 weeks.
If you listen to Bischoff, he talks about that when they first went into the Turner, they were very corporate, especially after Ted got bought out. It was a very corporate environment, dealing with all the sponsorships and the way that, and the standards and practices and laws or guidelines and all that shit. So it was very corporate. I don't see Tony Khan having a very structured company as far as all that goes. So I don't know. I don't think you compare it to WCW.
Fair enough.
All right, so main event time. From the Bubbly Bunch, we go to Hager. They did all night. I thought this was kind of funny. They went to who was going to pick who in the main event. Pretty much anybody who had anything to do with Bellator picked Hager. Pretty much anybody who had anything to do with the Inner Circle picked Hager. This could have been a little bit better, but it was like the Peter Griffin my knee thing just drawn out way too long. But we did get the match that we've been promised for a couple weeks. It was a long one. Again, I'm going to go to you first, Brian, because I kind of watched a bunch of it with Rob. Mox and Hager, what's your take?
Well, first, I don't think we discussed the match before that. We forgot to talk about Sean Spears and what the fuck was his name? Jason
Pineapple Man?
Justin Law. Did we? Oh, all right.
Yeah. Rob made a funny joke about the guy needing a permission slip to even wrestle tonight.
No, he's talking.
That's funny.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the banana guy or pineapple guy. What's his name? Pineapple Joe?
No, that was Sugar Dunkerton. He wrestles at PWX and
okay.
he's done some gear shows before.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, the main event. I thought it was a good match. My whole thing, it was the big question that I had, because I'm a fucking crazy person, was why are they both wearing camouflage shorts? I thought that was weird. Like, why are they both wearing like the same gear? But
you're such a wrestling fan.
Why are you hung up on this?
Wow.
I don't know, man. Why are you hung up on main event? You're hung up on main event.
Championship match between the #1 contender and the other guy who hasn't been on TV.
And he leads
one
off
is
with their
undefeated,
shorts.
one is undefeated this year, and you're talking about the opening fucking part of this. You're talking about their pants.
Yeah, I'm talking about their gear. Yes, I am talking about it. But
Oh
I thought this was a good match. It definitely I don't want to say that the Edge and Randy Orton one dragged, because it didn't. It had its moments where it did, I guess. But this one, I definitely feel like it didn't. It had a good pacing to it. I did enjoy JR's commentary. I thought he was great on it. As Adam writes a sign that no one can read because it's too bright.
Can't read that.
We can't read it. But I'm not surprised to see Moxley going over with this one.
Did you read that one?
Yeah, it was a good match between. It was a good showing for Hager. And I like that they got around the whole. It was a no DQ, so you can fucking do whatever the fuck they want. So it made sense for Moxley to be able to go over someone that's a legit badass like Hager is. I mean, because you said, he's a fucking Bellator MMA standout. So
maybe the board will catch up to that kind of commentary, Brian. For now, they're chiming in on the gear because that's where you led.
I gotta
Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta jump in here. So I think that the payoff was lacking in the hype, honestly. So all night long and for last week, but just specifically tonight, we got all these little nuggets where we got all the UFC fighters coming in, the Bellator guys coming in, hyping them up. So they're really hyping. They're just constantly talking about how badass Hager is, how badass. You're expecting him to just be unfucking stoppable, right? And he gets in there, and then before I jump into the match, I do want to say how fucking cool the Taz thing was, where he the move thing where he talks about how the move goes. I forgot what they call it.
That was
Taz's technique. Or
something like technique.
That.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, you telling us about that, and it paid off. It was worth the hype, Brian. Good job.
Yeah, I think that really draws kayfabe in, where you could look at that and try to sell it as a real thing by doing that. I was very impressed by that. But look, first off, Hager should have won. Let's just be real here. For any preferable storyline moving forward, it should have been Hager won the belt, and then he lays down for Jericho to get it back to him. That's what it should have been. That's what would have been best for fucking business. The match, I thought, was a typical Jon Moxley match. I'm bored after 3 minutes. Where's the ending? And then Moxley wins. Why? Why does Moxley win? What does that accomplish at all?
Yeah.
He's not a good champion. I'm sorry, everybody. Moxley's not a good champion. He's just not. So
okay, now I like a lot more than all the stuff that Rob just said. But the points that I have to 100% agree on him is, here's a swing and a miss. If you, at the very least, you have so much to play with, you give Hager the title here, or at the very least the win. You have a ton to play with. Is Jericho going to be mad and try and kick Hager out? Will, like Rob suggested, Hager just lay down and give Jericho back the belt? All sorts of stuff could play out of that. And let's face it, Mox is better when he doesn't have the title. He just doesn't. He's not one of those guys that needs the title to exist. His persona that he doesn't care whatever is much better. I like that he thanked the fans and said, that this is all possible the night that he won it. But the fact that he's had to do this the whole run, this is about the fans, and now that they're not here, this could go so much better for all characters involved if Hager wins here. Like Rob said, I have to agree with that. Whether you like any of the other stuff that both of us said, the possibilities are so much greater with Hager winning here.
But the problem is, though, and I don't know if you guys know, because I'm not aware of it right now, what his situation is with Bellator. Like, is he still? Does he have any fights coming up in the oncoming months? So you can't put the belt on him.
Solve that.
What?
He turns around and says, "I'm gonna challenge Jericho next week," and he walks down to the ring and lays down.
Bro, that's
Jericho
fucking...
No, it'd be great.
That's fucking Vince Russo bullshit.
No.
No, but it also ends. The one thing I like about when Rob said that is it ends Hager's undefeated streak without making a huge deal about it.
Yeah.
You're just quietly sweeping that under the rug because you're making such a bigger deal that he laid down.
And let me tell you something. I like if you're talking about the Nash Hogan thing when you say Russo, I like the concept that they gave on that. The execution was shit, right? You don't make it a major situation at a pay-per-view or some. You do it on the TV program as an as-if thing, in the middle of the fucking whatever you want to do. But no,
it could be the middle hour.
Yeah,
9 o'clock.
Let's face it, AEW was shining. They're still shining, but they were shining bright with Le Champion and having his gold. I think, hey, you took a little brief moment. Now give it back to him. Honestly, if you want to go back to the days of old, which I think is what they're trying to do in AEW, champions held on to titles for a long fucking time. And I am in no way in a hurry for Jericho to not have the title. Jericho could go in there and hold that title for a long fucking time. And until
You're talking about heels.
Yeah, and until I'm bored, I'm in.
I like a face that wins and gets screwed to lose and gets screwed when he tries to rematch and gets screwed when he tries to get back out and just kind of bottoms out. I would love to see them bottom Moxley out. Make him go back there. Think of the feuds that he could have with MJF. I think they're both great promos. That would be a good feud. I would like to see him do more with somebody like Pac than just one match. I would love to see him go and kick the shit out of Kenny Omega and turn heel or something. I would like to see him go against Hangman. I would like to see Mox do a lot more. We saw him do some of those, like when he fought Kenny in the death match, but I'd like to see them do something different. Everybody, I think he's fought Pac before, but I'd like to see him different. Not just these one-offs. Like, try to actually have a feud or go towards something else. Hell, have the Murder Hawk take him out. I don't care.
I want to push back on the board real quick for Daniel Price saying on the board, in no world was the concept of the finger poke of doom good. I completely reject that comment. I think the story of one guy in a faction laying down to the more dominant guy, I think it's a fabulous story, and it can also create storylines down the road for it. The finger poke of doom, as much as Marks sit here and bitch and cry about how horrible it was, it's been almost 30 years or 20, 30 years now since it happened. It had its own name that you can refer to, and you know the whole situation. It is still talked about in infamy right now. So you might have thought it was stupid, but what it did was it stood the test of time. So good or bad.
Rob's got a point there. Infamy counts. We're never going to forget that.
Right.
There are certain things that are terrible that we'll never forget. I'll probably at some point forget that Titus fell running out for the greatest Royal Rumble and went into the ring. Yeah. I'll forget that at some point. Yeah, I'm never going to forget the finger poke of doom.
Right, but that's a horrible comparison. I appreciate the backup there, but that's a horrible comparison. Finger poke of doom was a storyline that progressed a storyline with a major championship in a league.
One was a gift,
and the other one was somebody tripped and busted their ass. A little bit different on the spectrum of context, but I'm just saying I'm right. But go ahead. All right.
Brian, so you think it's fine that Mox just wins here and doesn't? I just think that there's so much more. I would love to see Mox be the crazy guy that tries to take down the Dark Order. I just think that there's other ththings he could be doing here.
Yeah, I agree, but I also think that what they're doing right now wasn't necessarily their first plans. All this stuff happening right now. Obviously,
blood and guts.
Yeah. So, I am curious to see, though, who will be the next person that takes the belt. Because, we had Jericho and we had Mox, and they're both kind of ex-WWE guys. So I wonder who the first one that's going to be like a true AEW champion. I wonder who that's going to be.
Wow. It'll be Hager, and then it'll be Matt Hardy, and they're all ex-WWE.
Maybe Hangman.
I was thinking Hangman. Yeah, Hangman. Yeah. Well, Pac was WWE, so.
Yeah. Oh, he was too. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Kenny Omega or Hangman is probably your only choice because everybody else is ex-WWE.
Real quick on the board.
And MJF.
I just want to push back on it again. Let's see here. Where's the? Somebody said, "Oh yeah." XL10 says, "Yeah, but we talk about the Mae Young giving birth to the Mark Henry's hand too." So yeah. Well, again, just to push back on my point here is
we talk about Katie Vick.
As stupid as it was at the time, we're still talking about it, and we're talking about it fondly. So
No, not fondly.
No, Katie Vick's not.
No.
I don't think finger poke of doom is fondly. Maybe the Mark Henry baby hand is fond.
Yeah, we think about that fond. I think about again. I hear that you guys disagree with me, and I see that there are disagreements on the board, and I'm sure there's people who agree with me, but I don't have a problem with the concept of the finger poke of doom. I didn't at the time. And I don't have it as a problem with that as a storyline moving forward. What's wrong with that concept? What was wrong with it?
With the finger poke? Well, I mean, the whole story with how Hogan had creative control, and that was basically the reason why they were doing it, because him and Russo were at odds. So there's a whole reason.
No, I'm asking you, what's wrong with the finger poke of doom? Storyline only, okay? Leave all the fucking politics out of it.
It takes away from like the actual credibility of the belt, right?
Yeah. I mean, all of those, I'll agree with it. And I mean, Daniel Price XL10, they're saying notoriety doesn't always mean good. But infamy does mean being known for something bad.
Wrestling is a parody of life, right? That's what they do. It's a parody. And this was a parody of a major boxing match that you always hear that somebody took a dive, got paid off for whatever reason. It's the same kind of concept here. They're just adding it into the story of professional wrestling. I don't.
Judy Bagwell.
Look, wrestling is fine in the ring. We all like good wrestling matches, but storylines matter. They absolutely fucking matter. And that was a storyline that made a difference.
But wasn't it a jump the shark moment?
No, fucking old boy winning the title. The actor Arquette winning the title was jump the shark moment. That was jump the shark.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, they were still doing fairly well when the finger poke of doom happened. I don't think they weren't in the gutter yet.
No, they were pretty shitty at that point. That was like 2000, wasn't it? That was Bash at the Beach 2000.
It was after he beat Goldberg, right? With the taser? Wasn't that right after Kevin Nash beat Goldberg with the taser? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
All right, whatever.
When was Dwight Yoakam the champ?
Who?
Never mind. That was TNA. I'm kidding.
No.
Just ignore me.
Dwight Yoakam?
Not Dwight Yoakam. It was some other country. Trace Adkins? Tracy? I don't know. Toby Keith.
Oh, he wasn't champion.
Yeah, somebody like that.
Pac-Man was the tag team champion.
Sure. Karl Malone. Dennis Rodman. They all wrestled.
Read the board, Brian. My God, you guys. Read the board, Brian.
Read the board. Yeah. Let's see. XL10 is saying finger poke of doom, ring post of death. I see your point, Rob. Okay. Stike is saying David Arquette took the notoriety out of the WCW title. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
And then Shoji saying, Rob was talking about the poke by Hollywood to Nash when NWO and Wolfpack combined. That was brilliant. Okay. And let's see. What's Daniel
Price says Nash ended Goldberg's streak, exaggerated as it was, then immediately lays down in a love tap on the chest.
Right. That's what I had no problem with that. Let me ask you a question. Did you have a problem with $1 Million Man buying the title from Andre?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't either.
Does that not score in the credibility of the belt as you did the finger poke of doom does?
Whoa, wait. Which title did he buy again? Which one was it? The $1 Million belt?
No, the heavyweight championship.
Oh, the heavyweight championship. Andre never lost it.
Yeah, but DiBiase wasn't the champion. Didn't he give it to someone?
No, he bought it, but then the commissioner came out and was like, you can't do that, so we're going to put it up for a tournament now. So they stripped Andre. But the concept was still that for a moment, DiBiase had purchased it from Andre.
I don't have a problem with that because they were trying to take it off of Andre.
But isn't
it? Yeah, but it's hard to say, Rob. You took away the actual credibility, and they've not said that DiBiase held the championship. So, in hindsight, you're talking about apples to something that didn't happen.
But it did happen. I'm asking if anybody had a problem when he bought the belt from him. I know they didn't let him hold it. I get that. But there was a period of time where he did buy it and he had possession of it and he was claiming that it was his. There was the moment there.
But they undid it, like, killing JR style. I don't know.
All right. Cool.
On Dallas.
Well, right. Sam, I think you could say the same thing about the finger poke of doom, because didn't Booker T end up leaving that pay-per-view with the belt? Wasn't that one of the times where he got the belt? I think that was the whole thing.
That was that was before Booker really went hot and heavy as a singles competitor.
Yeah, that was not the same time.
Yeah, not even close.
Good try, Brian.
Check the tape.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm positive.
All right. Final thoughts. Final thoughts. Let's get them ready. Let's get out of here. We've been going on an hour.
We're not doing awards.
Awards?
I didn't even watch NXT.
Okay, well then let's do a fucking award then. I mean, let's do.
Okay, fine. Brian, marked out award for AEW.
It could be for the night. Marked out award for the night. There you go.
No, yeah, I'm going for the night. Marked out award would have to be Timothy Thatcher showing up in NWO. Holy shit! in NXT, I thought that was a surprising appearance for him, and definitely awesome, because we had a pretty shitty day in wrestling. So that was a bright spot.
Yeah.
Rob, marked out.
Marked out moment for me was, I'm gonna say, man, I don't really know if I have a mark. Oh, no, fucking the orange juice. The orange juice on the fucking stove. Abso-fucking-lutely.
All right. I was just gonna go bubbly bunch in general. It was the part that made me pop. Brian wants to show unfocused things nobody can see. That's awesome, Brian.
Yeah,
cool by you.
That wasn't worth it.
Marked out's on the board. Nobody has caught up because I did not intro the segment very well. So we'll let you guys get your marked outs. Petty Town time. Brian, what's your Petty Town moment of the night?
Petty Town, low-hanging fruit. Here we go. All these fucking releases that came today, specifically the one that really rubbed me the wrong way. I really feel like they got rid of Aiden English because of his ties to Vicky Guerrero and the Guerrero family. That really grinds my gears if that's something that's real. But
I mean, you think of all the people, like Finley got let go. You think that Aiden English was more?
Yes, Aiden English is my hill to die on with all these people. Yes,
fair enough.
Wow. All right, Rob, what's your petty?
My Petty Town is gonna be kind of what Brian said. All the releases, but honestly, at the same time, I'm like, a lot of these I'm not upset about, and I'm actually happy about it for the people that have been released. I think it might be freedom for some people. Obviously, they're gonna go through some hardship, but they've made pretty good money, so they're probably gonna be all right for a minute. So that's my petty.
I agree with you, Rob. I'm excited for the people that have left. That's not my petty, though. My petty is going to be focused on one thing and one thing only. All of those names that Brian read, and Aaliyah is still working tonight.
She's awesome.
Not only that, she was on NXT TV. Man, I don't even know what to say. Brian, are there any marked outs or petty towns on the board yet?
Yeah, marked out for Jason Sklenar was Sammy throwing the weight. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. For XL10 for XL10 we got when Sklenar tried to spell assassinate and failed. True. Marked out for Stike was Killer Cross attacking Ciampa, and for AEW it was the Bubbly Bunch. Yep. For Shoji, the orange juice spilling, and Guevara's fucking Cinco. And DP marked out anytime Vince is under public scrutiny so hard. Okay. And let's see. Oh, Petty Time for XL10. Fuck Jim Ross doing matches by himself. Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't very excited about it.
Really?
I got advice. Lacey Evans still has a job, so he's with me on my Aaliyah train. He just put a different superstar there.
Right.
Petty Time for DP. Human Resources Department for WWE. Yeah, they were active today.
I kind of feel bad for like somebody like Carano, who's doing all the firings. Like, oh fuck, I gotta fire the whole company today. I mean, he's kind of an asshole, but that's gotta suck for anybody.
I saw those that didn't get fired even were like, this is a tough day. Some people that work with the company, like Bubba Ray's, like, this is a tough day for wrestling.
Yeah,
like,
a lot of
it was
WWE
just tough.
A lot of WWE stars are tweeting about, wow, this is really fucking all my friends. This is fucked. So.
Well, did you guys see? I'm pretty sure you saw it, but Drake Maverick, his was like, that was tough. That was hard to watch. I mean, he was legitimately like, it looked like he had cry eyes. It looked like he was like,
come on, man.
Yeah, but
it's the day. It's the age of
that shit was taped with him.
It's the age of internet and fucking and social media. He's not gonna miss anybody. That was so kayfabe, bro. Come on.
You think so?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just got done taping 3 matches where he did this round robin tournament. He thought that, this was going to be his push to be back on TV. And he found out, no, those are going to be his final matches, and he didn't even get to know it.
Dude's got a hot.
Go on, Rob.
I'm just saying, dude's got a hot wife, and he made a little bit of money on WWE. It's probably
That's true.
He's probably grateful for that. He's fine.
That's true. My favorite one out of all of the superstars, because a lot of them were very serious, and there were still, a lot of them tweeted out that they were bummed, but for the most part, they were excited for the future, and they had they all handled it very well. But Hurricane Helms, he tweeted out, he said, "I knew I shouldn't have answered that call." I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah, it is funny.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the guys, like you said, that have made their name and stamp in the business, they're going to be fine. They might, get a work or temporary gig there. They'll be fine. It does suck for some of the guys, like Drake Maverick. We're joking, but like this was probably the biggest opportunity that would ever come his way, that he got to this level, that he got featured in a bunch of different spots, and now he thought he was about to get on an uptick here, and it got rug pulled out from under him.
So here's a tweet from Rusev, now going by Miro. Is that how you say it, Miro? He says, "Thank you all, Rusev out." Very simple, to the point. So, how about that?
I don't know if we mentioned it before, but one of the creative people that were released, it was one of the ones they were instrumental in the whole Otis and Mandy storyline. So I wonder if that's gonna continue, if that's gonna take a weird left turn.
Who cares?
I love that storyline.
Why do you wonder?
Come on, man. It's a great story.
Yeah, right? Why? Come on, it's fun. He's the ultimate baby face. No.
Nobody can hear you.
Let's close this down.
All right, we're closing it down. You done?
Yeah, let's close it down. Final thoughts. We'll be back Monday. I think we'll be talking about more firings. Speaking of that, our executive producer decided to fire the Monday night host, I think, and Brian is going to be hosting Monday. Is that?
Yeah,
that's still a thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
those are the rumors that's going around, but
I don't want to lose the. I think the executive producer doesn't want to lose all the people on the board who are like, "Oh, Rob sucks." So Rob's like, I'm fine. Fuck it. You can have it. There you go.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, Brian, you're hosting Monday. I bet it's going to be awesome.
I have not signed my official agreement yet on it, so that's still up in the air.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Do your tagline.
All right. Rob tells you to wash your hands, but tune in next time. Same smart time, same smart channel.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Markedout Podcast is produced and edited by U-Record Studios and is recorded live from Charlotte, North Carolina. Subscribe, follow, and listen to us live following WWE programming on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Download the podcast by following us at podbean.com or subscribe on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. While you're there, go ahead and give us an honest and fair review and rating. Finally, if you have enjoyed our product and would like to see us grow, please donate to us by visiting the donation link below our live video, or you can donate via Venmo and Cash App at the handle Ravepro. That's Ravepro.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.